Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Coming up this week, Disney is getting closer to making a deal to purchase most of 20th Century Fox's film assets. Disney is also making an offer to its union cast members in hopes of avoiding a strike. And contributor Ryan Teets is going to be with us in a little while to talk about the latest rumors surrounding all things Disney. And a little later on, Steve Porter is going to talk to us about his most recent article on 7 ways to become a really crappy guest at Disney World. I don't think that was the name of it, but I didn't write everything out in my script, so I'm guessing it was something along those lines. All that coming up next. From the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged, episode 968, for the week of December 5th, 2017. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show, coming to you live from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends, Ms. Teresa Eccles.
Hey.
Charles Boda.
Hello.
Steve Porter.
Hello.
Julie Martin.
Hey, y'all.
And back in the production nook, our producer, Mr. Craig Williams.
Hello.
And our associate producer, Mr. Rhino Clavin.
Hello.
So welcome to the show, everyone. Hope you are having a good week. Is everybody getting ready for the festivities, the Christmas festivities?
Yes, sir.
Who has their Christmas shopping done?
Really? The only reason
Yes.
you asked.
I am. I can declare an end to major Christmas combat operations here in my
Was
home.
it all online?
I'll say the vast majority of it was. This is. I would just want to say this is the first. I promised myself last year, because I do the same thing every year, where it's like 5 days before Christmas, and I am racing to get stuff.
Oh.
And I said I'm not doing it. So I started like 3 weeks ago.
Wow. Now, do you just get stuff, or are you, like, thinking about it?
Oh, I'm always thinking about it, but I have a good idea of what I want to get, but I also remain open to, oh, you know what, that's a good idea. So
It's all wrapped?
I'd say not all of it. I'd say about 20% of it's wrapped.
Do you do your unwrapping?
My roommate Michael has been helping with that.
This is like the best interview ever.
You know, so I look, you know, when I wrap a present, it doesn't look like an adult wrap the present. So I'm.
Do you coordinate the papers, or do you?
Oh, for the love of God, does this really need to go on?
Just wondered. Some people do. Some people.
So
It has to
anyway,
match the tree.
so yeah, I'm very proud of myself, and really, we can do a Christmas wrapping interview after this.
Okay.
But really proud that I've got most of it done.
Wow.
And before my birthday, which has never happened before, which is tomorrow, by the way. I will
To remind us all.
To remind us. Well, the only reason I'm really bringing it up is because on my personal Facebook page, I realize, you know, you can do a thing where for your birthday you can have people donate to a cause. So I put something up for Give Kids the World. So if you want to give me a birthday present, that would be a great one. So head out to my Facebook page, facebook.com/ I guess it's Pete Werner. You'll find me. Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. I just happened to come up like a few weeks ago. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. That would be fun. So, yeah.
Nice.
And it's also Walt Disney's birthday today.
Yeah.
He'd be like 704 or something.
116.
116. Well, you know, good thing he's frozen under the castle.
He doesn't look a day older than 110.
No, the man with the tie makes a joke.
What?
Does he always wear a tie?
No.
Is this the first time I noticed
No,
it?
I'm sorry. No, like a lot of times when he's out doing stuff, he's got a tie on.
Every dining show, a lot of times when I'm doing the fix, if you cared about me, you would know these things. But you just care about being mean to me.
What was your name again?
This is why we don't hang out.
No.
This is why you don't have friends, Teresa.
Okay. It looks good. Like
It looks great.
It's a look.
Should I loosen
Loosen a little bit. Yeah, make it look like you've
To
been
the
working.
Clooney.
There you go.
There we
It's a little
Yeah.
Clooney. Clooney
There was a
action.
little Alex P. Keaton there for a while. I didn't care for that. I'm okay with Clint either.
This is
You're
great
dating
radio.
yourself.
Oh, it's going to be it's
What?
going to be short attention span theater today, isn't it?
Oh, I got a special rapid fire in addition to the one I sent you, Craig.
Oh, well, wow, we can all wait with bated breath for that. All right, just want to remind everyone as well that next week will be our final show for the Diz Unplugged for 2017. We'll be coming back January 2nd with our next round of shows. All the shows go on hiatus next week. We are going to be putting up the Disney Dining Show episodes and Best and Worst of Walt Disney World episodes throughout the year, so you'll still get those. But as far as our, this show, the Universal show, the Disneyland show, they all wrap up for the year next week, returning the week of January 2nd. So, and it's like, I love doing the show, but it's really nice to have that break for a few weeks and, kind of take off. But also got a lot of travel planned.
Do you?
Yeah, for next year. Like
nice.
the travel calendar is starting to get full, so I'm excited about that.
Nice.
So, anything else in rapid fire? Okay. You threw me off.
Sorry. Merry Christmas. Happy birthday.
Anything else in housekeeping?
Yeah, I actually have one. We, of course, Connecting with Walt's going to be back in January, and one of the things that we are looking forward to doing is actually a question and answer episode. So we started kind of a thread a little bit on Facebook on the Diz Unplugged page, so facebook.com/Diz Unplugged, where you can ask us questions about the history of the theme parks, Walt Disney, everything we cover on the show. Right now, there's been a lot of people just saying you should talk about this. Those are topic suggestions, not really questions. So we need actual questions to answer. So if anyone does have any, then we will absolutely add them to the list of things we will answer on that episode. But yeah, so thank you all for the topic suggestions. We will keep them in mind, but we need questions.
Okay, cool. There's one thing I just want to mention, just because I had dinner there last night, up at the California Grill. I just got to say, I wasn't there. We weren't doing a Disney dining show or anything. I was just there on a date, and I got to say, it was. I've always had good meals at the California Grill. Always rates very highly. For whatever reason, last night's meal was absolutely out of this world. Absolutely phenomenal. The best I've had there in a long time, and that's saying something because, like I said, I always think it's good. So I have a feeling, because I know there's a new chef that came, the guy that came from Gico, take over. He brought back the tamarind barbecue sauce for the oak rolled filet, which was beyond, and the pumpkin soup was just, oh my God, there aren't words. But if this is where this restaurant is now, if it was already good and now it's gone up a level, you think reservations have been hard to get up to this point, they're going to get harder. Because if this is what I think it is, which it feels like there's been this systemic change in the kitchen. So just a heads up, if California Grill's important to you, I would strongly recommend using booking it at the earliest possible moment. I was very lucky that I happened into that reservation like a day before. It's like one of those things that every so often, I'll go in and I want to go have dinner on property and I'll do a check, see what's available. And
Didn't they get a new chef recently?
Thanks for listening. I just got done saying that. Maybe if you weren't like reading whatever it is you're reading on your phone.
Oh, I was getting ready for my rapid fire. I'm sorry.
But we're a little ways away from that,
I
love.
know. I'm sitting right beside you. I'm nervous.
What? I'm going to
She just
start.
wants to be prepared.
I'm going to start crushing the Ritalin up in the candy corn or the caramel corn that you bring. Yeah, look, this is what she shows up with. Okay.
I have not had one bite.
And then
of
there's
yet.
like the never-ending purse of chocolate that's at my feet right now, and it ain't mine.
I moved it over here
Just to be safe.
just to be safe for later.
Well, she wants to protect the stash.
Gotta protect it.
Addicts usually protect the supply.
I try.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, California, you need to really
What?
focus.
I'm trying. I'm working.
California Grill, it was amazing last night. And I have a feeling that it's going to, word of mouth is going to go that the food is even better than it has been. So just wanted to throw that out there. So what?
Nothing.
What? Is there a problem?
No. Unrelated.
Oh, okay. Anything else? Anything else for housekeeping? Going
Happy
once?
birthday.
Too late for that, Greg.
Too early.
If you're a Patreon supporter, you can check that out. There was a bunch of stuff posted.
Check his mic level, Craig.
He needs to talk
sorry.
into it, too.
Posted over the... Whatever. You guys heard half of what I said, so that's fine.
No, go ahead.
Just go over to the Patreon website and check out the stuff that's on there.
He's like glowing.
He seems sad today.
Just tell people what you're talking about. Some people may not have any idea what the words coming out of your mouth mean.
If you are a Patreon supporter or you would like to become
And what is
a
Patreon?
Patreon is a site that helps creative people like ourselves in this podcast maintain its fees and keep it running, and are part of the reason why we're able to offer you so much good stuff at for a lot of you for free. So if you feel like you want to donate once a month or continually or $1 here or whatever, like, you can, and you'll get some exclusive content that other people aren't getting. You'll get early access to some vlogs, stuff like that. You can check it out at patreon.com/DizUnplugged. Crowdfunding site would be the correct term that somebody just corrected me on. I couldn't think of that. Thank you. So you can check that out. I did post a bunch of stuff for all the various tiers over the last couple of days. So I just wanted to draw people's attention to it because I know it's the holidays and we forget and whatever. But, you know, I know people like that little stuff. So I just wanted to remind people it's still out there. And it'll still be posting over the break for you guys there, too. Sorry.
Excellent. Thank you, Rhino. Anything else? All right. We're going to move on to the news. The first story that I want to talk about is, and this kind of took me by surprise. I mean, they were talking a few weeks ago. There were rumors going around that Disney and Fox had been in talks about Disney buying some of Fox's assets. And then it was rumored that the deal had fallen apart. And then a few days ago, the rumor started up again that it sounds like they're back at the negotiating table. And then today, the word is they're getting close to a deal. CNBC is reporting that this deal could be done as soon as next week. And one of the things that makes that an extraordinary story is that this would be seen potentially as a $60 billion acquisition of 20th Century Fox. And this is going to involve Fox is going to keep its news and sports assets, but Disney would be looking to take over pretty much everything else. It would be the sale of A&E, the cable network, Star, regional sports networks, movie studios, and stakes in Sky TV out in Europe, Hulu, and the majority of the 20th Century Fox movie library, which is, I think, who was telling me? I think, Rhino, you were mentioning to me that just the movie assets alone are valued at somewhere in the $50 billion range.
Yeah, it's close to $50 billion just for the movie studio. The movie studio.
Why is it? It doesn't seem like his mic is as sensitive.
I don't
he's not
know.
that far
it's in
away
my
from
mouth, so I can't put it any closer to me.
Oh,
Whoa.
bitter party of one, bitter. So, what do we think this means? Like, this is a major acquisition. Rhino was pointing out that earlier to me that the Marvel acquisition, for example, was $4 billion.
Pixar was 7.4.
7.4.
World domination.
Lucasfilms was what, about 4 or 5, right?
I think so, yes.
So you're talking about a deal that is larger than all of those combined and doubled effectively. So what do you think Disney is getting for this?
Well, if they get it.
They get it.
They are still in talks with Comcast as well. Those aren't progressing as much, but there's still a back and forth there. Until there's an announcement, there's no deal. It's still a lot of speculation. I want to say one analyst who had put it a $50 billion deal, not a $60 billion deal, said that this would give the Murdochs a 25% stake in Disney.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And one of the things you might wonder is why this is so profitable to Fox to go with Disney over Comcast, why those negotiations are progressing more. And due to a lot of the regulatory nature of like a deal this big, it might be a little easier for them to go with Disney rather than Comcast. I think that they said that they expect it to be cleared by U.S. antitrust regulators more easily if they go with Disney instead of Comcast. There was also, I think, Bloomberg mentioned that they kind of wanted to see whether they could get whatever current Murdoch is CEO of Fox, get his foot in the door as far as being in the upper echelons of Disney and try and do that. So it looks like a great deal for Fox if they sell to Disney, but it's still not a done deal. Comcast is still in the game somewhat.
But okay, that's what Fox would get. What would what would Disney get?
One of the really interesting things that they'd end up having is a 60% stake in Hulu, which will get really interesting and maybe dicey because they're starting their own streaming service with pretty soon. So,
well, that's what I thought. I mean,
so that'll be interesting how that plays out because they'll have 60% of their own competition almost,
unless they roll that service into Hulu.
But it almost seems like they're streaming. Like, okay, just let's look at the streaming for a second. Big story last month about Disney, firing up their own streaming service in 2019, I believe. And, this is why they were pulling things off of Netflix. And now this, does it seem possibly like this is, our streaming strategy is just buy everything in sight and hope for the best?
Well, it could be a competitive move to try to pull everything that's on Netflix, all the 20th Century Fox stuff off Netflix as well. Because
wow.
I don't know. I don't know about that because that seems like a pretty aggressive move just to eliminate a streaming service that like
unless you're trying to become the new Netflix.
Yeah, but it's like I mean I'd have to see a breakdown of what's on Netflix, but I don't think that there's that much of a strong presence of Fox films on Netflix, specifically Fox films that like I can tell. I just try to think about how they're gonna, since it's mainly the movie assets like are a big deal, and I do think the Hulu thing is a big deal too. Like how much they can incorporate synergy-wise into their brand now. Like I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's because they want the Marvel characters. But $50 billion is a lot of money to pay for the X-Men. So it's like, I don't think that's what it is, I don't know.
But you get Hugh Jackman, right?
No, he's done. He'd come back for Disney, I bet.
He would.
I don't know. I just, it's an extraordinary acquisition. It would be, if it goes through, an extraordinary acquisition.
Well, if you think about what they've already purchased so far, the major deals, which once again are not this huge, they've consolidated pretty much, so many major movie releases, major film releases. All of these purchases are just making them pretty much the major player in entertainment. So, buying Fox, that just adds to the amount of major film releases they have. And then you have other things with it too. All of Fox's like outlier things, like National Geographic would be part of this.
But at what point, you think about this, think about the number, they've been absorbing things like the Borg. At what point does this whole thing become so unwieldy it collapses in on itself? There are so many arms to this.
Well, it won't collapse in on itself as long as they don't overstep, federal regulations. Like this is coming after the suit with the AT&T Time Warner deal. There are regulations to keep Disney from becoming the only media and entertainment player. As long as they don't overstep those regulations, this is continuing to be good, having more properties. Even with stuff like the streaming service, having majority stakes in Hulu and having their own service, even if they're completely separate and not combined, that is just more for them to profit off of. And what works for one, they can transfer to another. So if they have a good strategy with their Disney streaming service from 2019, they can use some of that to embolden Hulu. Then all of a sudden they've got a lot of different pieces all kind of working together. But, it's one of those things where more purchases aren't going to work badly for them, having more property, as long as it's run well. So.
And then what do you think? What do you think would translate from this? Again, this is all assumption at this point. No deal has been announced. This is all speculation, but let's have fun with it. What from the 20th century? And I'll ask you this, Rhino. From the 20th Century Fox stable of intellectual properties, what would translate, do you think, into the theme parks?
Well, I think about like what goes into merchandise, theme parks, like you said. I mean, the obvious is X-Men. The original Star Wars movies would then become theirs for for showing in theaters and stuff like that. So, I think, it's hard to say because Fox has had a lot of really successful franchises as well. But obviously, like they're not going to bring Alien into Disney World or anything like that. I wouldn't think, or who knows, but. I mean, there is a lot of stuff they can do. It's just a weird, like, I don't know. It doesn't fit with. I think that Disney brand is slightly shifting and changing about what it means.
But didn't we say the same thing about the Marvel acquisition?
Yeah,
it didn't make sense.
Right, exactly.
And now look, it's and Star Wars too. I think Star Wars. We accepted that a little bit more readily than we did Marvel, but we kind of said the same things about Marvel. But I just wonder, like, what IP, other than X-Men, what IP could they really tap?
Well, I'm wondering if they're going to keep the 20th Century Fox banner, and just, how they had, like, was it Miramax or what was their other Touchstone? I don't know.
Touchstone, Miramax were all under the Disney banner.
Because Fox releases movies from G to R, and so, like, my slight fear is that if Disney takes too much of Hollywood, everything will. We had that fear, will they ruin Marvel movies because now everything's got to be family friendly, and they've shown they haven't. They have embraced it, but there is also that, like, Netflix is where like the rated R stuff lives, I guess. But my fear is like, well, what about just regular films too? That sometimes it's R because of the content, not language or anything. But I don't want.
Well, the reason they went with Miramax, for example, was they wanted to be able to produce PG-13 and R-rated films and not put them under the Walt Disney Pictures banner. So I think they would absolutely leave the 20th Century Fox brand in place. It's a valuable brand.
Yeah,
clearly it's a valuable brand. You're talking about spending $60 billion for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I'm going to buy something for $60 billion, I'm going to want to kind of keep the pretty label.
If anything, all they should be focused on with Fox in terms of movies is the key assets that Disney could help return to Marvel, like X-Men, Fantastic Four. Go ahead and do that, but then let Fox just keep running as it would on its own and just take the profits from the name.
And what's happening? Does anybody know what's happening to the stock of these two companies as these?
Oh, that'd be interesting.
As these negotiations are being rumored?
Let's see. Since the most recent one, the most recent announcement that we might get an official announcement about a deal within the next week, shares of 21st Century stock rose 3.2%. Shares of Disney fell 2.1%. Shares of Comcast fell 1.2%. So 21st Century Fox stock rose. Disney and Comcast both fell slightly.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I wonder why. I guess because of the uncertainty over who was going to buy it. Either way, Fox is the target, so let's buy that. But we don't know who's actually going to buy it, so let's hold off on those.
Did Fox make Avatar?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They distributed it.
I'm trying to think of
the distributed it.
The biggest franchises they've ever made.
Yeah, but I think they just had the distribution deal. I think Cameron owns his IP. I mean, not the studio.
Yeah, and that's what comes into play with a lot of this. We've gone through it when you hear about TV shows being made all the time. There's so many parts to it. There's the lot that it's filmed on. There's the production company that actually produces it, and then the person who distributes the rights to actually broadcast it. So even when we're talking about Fox and TV, it's all messy. It's all complicated, but there's clearly some value, or Disney wouldn't be going after it.
Well, I just, I'm very intrigued to see where the deal goes, if it goes through, and if it does go through, what they're going to do with it. Because I mean, let's be honest, they've done amazing things with their acquisitions up to this point. Amazing things. So I'm intrigued.
I would also like to see what the response is. We were talking about what they would do, whether they wanted to become the new Netflix. And as they grow and they keep making these acquisitions, they keep throwing out lines about like, no, we love our relationship with Netflix and we're not doing this, we're not doing that. And they keep trying to play very low key. Like, yeah, we're friendly with anybody. We just thought that.
Yeah, that's why they hire a PR department.
Yeah, exactly. But I would like to see the response from some of the other major media companies after this goes through. This is a very big deal.
It was a very big deal.
Well, the thing that like kind of weirds me out just before you're done, it's just Fox has been around since 1935, I guess, and you think to yourself like that's nothing. That's over 80 years of making movies. That I don't know. It seems weird to me that now that studio is not going to be a thing anymore. It makes me sad. I guess.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I worry about things becoming too unified and less diversity. And I would hope the trend would go other ways in Hollywood, where more smaller studios are becoming a thing. But so it's just one of those. I don't know. It's just something to think about.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you said this. I was trying to pay attention here. So why are they selling?
That's a great question that I don't know the answer to. Do you have any insight on that, Charles?
Why is
Why is Fox selling? Why can't they? Why are they selling? Are they just tired of it, or what? What's the deal?
No, generally, I mean, it's what will profit shareholders and also what will profit the Murdoch family. So some of the reasons they're selling are, once again, I think I mentioned that this would give them, according to some analysts, if stocks are part of the deal, it could give them 25% of Disney stocks, which is a
So money.
deal.
It's all about controlling money.
Yes, the Murdochs are always about controlling money, and this might actually put one of them into Disney management too. Now those are all like
Probably put them on the board at least.
yeah. These are all it's all speculation, everything like that. But the thing is, they're selling because it will be profitable to the shareholders and to the Murdochs. As far as who they sell to, it's going to be a mixture of money and how easy the transition is. So the regulation thing is part of it too. Is it going to be easier to sell to Disney and more profitable, or would it be a little more difficult to sell to Comcast but more profitable? So
when I go to watch an old movie, it's going to hopefully have the same logo and the same feel to it, right?
Yeah.
But then somewhere on there it's going to say Disney.
If it's a re-release.
If it's a re-release, probably.
But not the old
I doubt it. I don't think this is about Disney trying to expand their brand. I think it's about them making a business acquisition. So I don't think like 20th Century Fox logos are going to go away on the films that they exist on, or anything like that. And I don't think Mickey Mouse is going to be introducing any of these films,
Really?
or anything like that.
Love him, but I don't want him everywhere.
But it remains to be seen.
Another interesting thing just with Universal is that are the Simpsons, I think, are part of 20th Century Fox.
There's the TV just part of it, though.
Okay.
Yeah, so this doesn't include that, I don't think. It would just include the one Simpsons movie.
Okay. Never mind. That cancels out that topic then.
But what I was going to say in response to Rhino's worries is, having gone through this with Marvel, I'm a huge lifelong Marvel fan, and I was really worried when they purchased Disney too. And you get benefits when things you love are purchased by Disney, and there are also downsides. Benefits: they put a lot of time, effort, creativity, and energy into fan service, and they actually do listen to a certain extent. Downsides: cross promotion. Just from the comics, so many things in the comics changed for Disney movies, for things to be added to the park. So now, if you're looking at Fox properties, not only are you going to get the movie, but it might be tied into a billion other things that Disney is trying to profit off of, not just merchandising, and that can get annoying to a fan. So,
well, it'll be very interesting to see how things shake out. Possibly by our next show, we may have an answer. Another deal Disney is trying to strike is with their unions. We have been talking recently about the wage negotiations that have been going on since October between Disney and most of the unions that cover most of their cast members. And according to WFTV on November 30th, Disney made an offer to the unions that would be a 3% raise for 2 years, an immediate 50-cent hourly pay raise for current employees, and a $200 upfront cash payment. And there is a divide between the United Food and Commercial Workers Union and the Unite Here Local 362 Union, where you have one union saying that, hey, this is a good deal, we should take this, and another union saying, oh, this is nothing close to what we asked for. What they're going for ultimately is a $15 an hour minimum wage with Disney, and so there's this battle now between the unions, which may end up strategically being a brilliant move on Disney's part if that actually goes a certain way. But there's supposed to be a vote taking place December 19th and 20th. They have agreed among the union members to vote on the proposal. They have agreed to extend the negotiations for another 30 days because the contract expired December 1st. So that does cover them through the holidays. That does cover them through January 1st. But I will tell you my thoughts, just on the surface. The minute I see the $200 upfront offer, Disney knows they're giving a crappy deal.
I have a story about this, actually, too, from when I worked there. So when I first started there, like in 2007, there was a new contract that started in the beginning. So I was there, and the contracts usually go for like 3 or 4 years. So I was there over the course of like 2 negotiations, but I wasn't really involved in the first one. But the first one, they lost a whole bunch of stuff. They lost, like, if you worked in an area for a certain amount of years, you used to immediately go to the top of your pay grade in that area after like 10 years or something like that. They took that away. And then what happened the second time while I was there was the health insurance premiums, they said, would increase every year by, they were like, oh, it'll just be small. It'll be 1% every year for 3 years. So you're like, okay, well, that's 3% in 3 years or whatever. And then the raise went from being a 4% raise, because it used to be 5%, or it went down to 4%. But then if you did out the math, what would happen if you had been a cast member there working for however many years, at the end of that, the term of that contract, you were going to be making only 17 cents more on the dollar after 3 years, because the premium for health insurance wasn't matching the raise thing. And so what Disney tried to do is, it didn't go through the first time, but then they said, well, here's $500 to every single cast member that'll sign this. And everybody signed it because everybody wanted $500 because nobody had gotten a raise for like 7 or 8 months. So seeing them trying to pay this up front again, I'm like, well, you have another shady deal, because now, I said shady, by the way, another, the
other one applies too.
That increase went down again. I can't believe it's only 3%, because it just seems like they do a little flash here and nobody looks at the long term. And, I say shame on the union that represents them, because it was the union representatives that didn't educate the cast members well enough on what the deal was doing and didn't try hard enough. So,
well, we've heard, and again, this is ancillary, this is anecdotal. I don't have firsthand knowledge of this, but I have heard multiple stories about how cozy some of these union reps are with Disney. And trips and perks and all sorts of things that go on between Disney and the union reps, and the cast members are the ones that end up getting screwed. On the surface here, this does not look like a good deal to me for the cast members. I think they can hold out for more. I think they should hold out for more, and that $200 upfront offer, that's the red flag. That if you've got to offer that, your deal sucks. And you're hoping they won't notice and that they'll get distracted by the fact that, oh, you know what? It's Christmas. Oh, $200. I could really use that right now. I don't think it's I personally, from on the surface, from what I know, what I've seen, I don't think this is a great deal.
They're paid at poverty level, or they were. I don't know if they still are, but that's the thing. So you dangle a loaf of bread in front of somebody that's starving. Obviously, they're going to take the loaf of bread today. That it's just, it's so frustrating because I do think that cast members aren't given enough credit for being, and this is why we talk about the cast member experience having this slide downward in years, is because, well, they're not happy, and they're at the core of what a Disney experience is. It's not just the place you visit, it's the people you interact with while you're there too. You want it to be a good place, well then encourage people to be the best versions of themselves.
And and I know we always get emails when we talk about this, and go ahead and send them. I don't care. Here we're talking about, in one story, a potential $60 billion or $50 billion acquisition of 20th Century Fox. And then on the other hand, we're talking about a story where people are fighting to get a living wage working their theme parks. Now, I'm not suggesting that Disney not acquire things and spend that money to build their business. I'm saying I don't know that these things have to be so mutually exclusive all the time. And that's what it seems like it is. It's like this is the last thing they want to do. They want to spend all this money at acquiring and building their business. Great, I'm all for that. But what about a living wage for the people who are working for you?
It's funny that you just said that, because I just remembered that in my Facebook, how sometimes it'll say, like, 2 years ago you said this or whatever. I had a status that said, oh, Disney just bought Lucasfilm for $4 billion, and I just got a raise that in 4 years from now I'll have 17 more cents on the dollar than I do now. So, like, it's funny that this is another. It seems to always happen when there's a massive acquisition. Like, I don't know why, but it's exactly what you said. It's kind of like, well, and then you get an email in your work email, like Bob Iger saying, we had the best year ever. Things are so much up. And you're like, oh, cool. Well, I can't afford new shoes, but thanks. Thanks, Bob.
So, interesting to see what happens with that. You have any insight on that?
Well, just one of the things that could go into, I guess, manipulating cast members into thinking that this is a deal they have to take is that this has been delayed so many times.
Yeah.
Initially, the first date it came out, I want to say, was July 25th or July 26th is when the STCU, or Services Trade Council Union, which comprises all these 38,000 cast members, when they first announced it was that long ago. They had till October to come to an agreement, or they were going to move on to other stuff not wage related. They moved on. So there have been 2 extensions now. So if they don't take this deal, people might be worried that they're just not going to get a wage deal before they have to move on to other things. So, and the other thing is, when you're talking about the importance of cast members being well paid, you think about these big deals that go on $50 billion, $60 billion, and you start to think of Disney as this media empire, heartless powerhouse. And the best PR that they get is from individual cast members. All the feel-good stories that you get that make you think that Disney is a place where hopes and dreams come true, those are from cast members in the parks doing amazing things and helping people out, not from the major purchases and acquisitions. Mm-hmm. So, treat them a bit better.
Yeah, I agree. All right, one other thing that I thought was kind of interesting, it's cute. The Disney Parks blog announced that starting, I believe, today, the 5th, that they're going to, for the next 12 days, they're going to be making announcements to celebrate the holiday season. So they'll be doing never-before-seen images and video, new resort hotel experiences, new dining options, special events in the parks, and updates on some of the attractions and things that were discussed or announced at this year's D23. So what was today's update?
Today they announced 3 new floats coming to the Pixar Play Parade that's now going to be in Disneyland Park on April 13th, I believe. So it was the Luxo and the Pixar Ball is going to be one of the floats, and then the Up characters have a float, and the Inside Out characters have a float.
Oh, does Up float?
So the Inside Out float is Bing Bong and Sadness and Joy on the Rocket Wagon, and they have, I think, some like the emotion memory balls underneath them. I don't remember what they're called. And then the Up characters...
Memories.
They're called memories.
But they were the balls.
I don't know. I don't know what they're called.
Emotional memory balls.
And then the Up float is Doug, then Kevin, the flightless bird, and Russell and Carl.
Is that what you call him, Kevin the Flightless Bird? It seems so mean.
Well, that's what the Disney
Well,
parks
if he doesn't say that, they'll think it's Kevin Close.
Kevin made his way to a float, finally.
I like the up float. Sounds
I think
They all sound
sounds
cute.
good. Yeah.
I think it's cute that they're doing this. It's great marketing idea. I just wonder what they're going to.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what else is in store. I think it's like, I don't know if this
Maybe the 12th announcement's going to be something huge.
maybe.
Is Bing Bong a character in the parks, or is he just? He's not, is he?
I don't think so.
No.
No. So you get to see him on the float.
He's imaginary.
Oh, I love Bing Bong. Bing Bong, Bing Bong. I love him.
Okay.
Okay.
So, all right. Just wanted to throw that in there. That Disney will be doing that over the next 12 days. But let's go over to our contributor, Ryan Teets, who is also the moderator of our rumors and news forum on disboards.com. And every month, Ryan does an update of all the latest rumors swirling around the internet. And happy he's joining us again this month. How are you, Ryan?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. So, of the rumors that are going around right now, which one? Let's start with this. Which one has you the most excited?
Most excited? I'd probably have to say the rumors about an Epcot resort at the front of the park.
That was an interesting rumor. Talk about that.
Yeah, so apparently there are 3 possible locations at the front of Epcot that are being thrown around for a brand new deluxe resort. One is right at the main entrance. One is on where the current bus stop is, and then one is kind of backstage near the Land and Seas Pavilion.
Oh, that could be very intriguing. That could be very, very intriguing. What do you think the likelihood of them doing this is?
It actually seems more and more likely each day with the rumors mill that's swirling around it. Seems like probably either by the Land Pavilion or the main entrance are the most likely spots.
Trying to think of how they would build. How would they build a hotel at the main entrance and not really screw everything up for like 2 years?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Well, it seems like that that whole concept art thing they showed at D23, that essentially the entire front of Epcot was going to be changed or whatever.
Yeah.
This kind of feels like it fits into that a little bit. So that's interesting.
So goodbye parking.
Well,
The
no.
front of Epcot. I mean, it can't be that. They're gonna have to take some parking.
Maybe they'll
right?
build a structure.
Well,
That would be nice.
that would be interesting, but I don't know. But I think, how well do you think what it would effectively amount to an in-park hotel, much like you have with the Grand Californian at Disney California Adventure and the Disneyland Hotel in Paris, that both...
It would be hugely popular. It would be on the monorail loop, so that would be awesome. I mean, assuming
True, that's right. It would be a new monorail hotel.
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
that would be pretty huge. You'd have awesome, if it were on right next to the entrance, you'd had awesome views of the fireworks to watch illuminations from your room.
Oh wow! Yeah, I remember watching, being able to watch the fireworks at Disneyland Paris from the concierge lounge, right down. I was right over the over Main Street, and you look straight down. It was incredible view.
So you'd have that, and you'd overlook Spaceship Earth. I think this would be a no-brainer, huge success. So,
What is that?
Yeah.
Sounds like some feedback with Skype.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe my house was exploding.
Yeah, like a power surge.
Is it okay? It's coming from that. Okay, sorry. Just wanted to make sure we weren't all going to die. So, hotel at Epcot, that definitely an exciting one. What else? What other rumors have your attention this month?
Well, there's a couple things in the Magic Kingdom. With the permits were filed for Tron and the theater, initial permits that show what the water management work that will be done with those. Also, there's still rumors flying around that the Speedway will get a major update when Tron comes online. And there was a new rumor this month that Hollow Wishes will be going away within the next year or two to include a new show with projections and stuff like that.
Okay. It's like Craig wants.
Craig is excited about this.
It needs it. It's stale now compared to Happily Ever After.
Nah.
One man's opinion.
For the
Yeah.
for the
Yeah, I like Happily Ever After, but I think I love Hallowishes.
But imagine what they could do if they had like projections with Hallowishes too.
Yeah, and I'm just not a big projection guy.
Yeah.
Really and truly. I mean, they're cool and everything, but don't mess with my fireworks over for projection. So, very interesting rumor though, Ryan, about the Enchanted Tiki Room. The possibility, the rumor that they may do an intellectual property add-on to that attraction with Moana.
Yep.
What are you
They seem
hearing
to
about
want
that?
to get Moana in the parks, and this would be an easy way to do that, to make the Tiki Room more popular. There was a rumor a couple months back that the Tiki Room would go away altogether, and now that seems to have died down, and now they just want to bring Moana into the existing attraction.
No.
How do you think that's going to go over?
With diehard Disney fans, probably not very well, but I think your common fan would be okay with it.
I didn't like it when the other birds were in there, when the Coco, when Zazu and Iago were in there. I'm going to call Coco now forever. I remember even as a kid, I couldn't understand what they were saying. I didn't get it. And I know it's one of those things where you're like, things have to change, but
Not this.
I don't have a problem with it happening to our show because it's just a completely different feel. If they tried to change Disneyland's, that's different because that is such an intimate experience and the history there. I know nothing should be left as a museum piece. That should be one thing that is left as a museum piece out there, at least. It's just our show needs to be a little bit different, and I think it could get a freshening up. It's still at a domestic park. If it's the same at Disneyland, it doesn't have to be the same in Walt Disney World.
My guess is she would kind of like replace the Tiki God.
Oh Lord, no!
As like
Please
she
no.
would be the one controlling the water and the weather or something.
I think it would just be a complete different show.
Oh.
Yeah, I would think they'd have to do a completely different show. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, like I've gotten upset about these changes before. And then when they come in, I'm like, oh, you know what? That's actually pretty good. So I don't want to prejudge it, but
No.
Although there have
so Teresa, you are a firm no.
I'm
You're
a
like,
firm no on this one. Yeah, don't mess with the Tiki Room. They already effed it up when they brought in the other birds. Like I didn't like that. So
It's boring.
it's okay though.
No, it's not when you have kids.
No,
It sucks.
so
I
Julie,
don't like the Tiki Room. I never have.
Okay.
All the clicking. Oh my gosh.
oh, that's gonna be a gift somewhere.
I mean, it's just so I can't take it. So we'd hardly ever do it. If Moana was in there, I would probably go back because I love Moana. It's a great movie.
No, we like it.
So
Yeah.
I speak for my whole family.
So when you take the kids in there, the kids
they're bored.
They're bored.
It's boring. And they're not real
everything
birds.
has to be like.
Well, no, but
you need a little.
I want them to be
chill.
entertained at least, and not be like, when is this gonna be over?
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's the charm. It's the nostalgia.
I don't find
of
it charming at all.
I do.
I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the update. Like, you wanna do something in the Tiki Room? Okay, well, give it a new show. Maybe,
Give it some new
but
feathers.
Update the animatronics of the birds and stuff like Julie's talking. I know the clicking noise you're talking about. Everybody
It's
does.
the whole time.
And it's just so it's kind of like, all right, well, make it. Maybe don't touch it, but make it innovative again, because that's what it originally was innovation.
Right.
But
Okay, I'm okay with that. But just don't bring in other people.
All right. So Ryan, what else has you excited? This Coco. You're writing this that the Coco remake of the Grand Fiesta Tour at the Mexico Pavilion in Epcot is all but approved, according to www.magic.com.
Yep.
You feel confident on that?
Yeah, that seems to be pretty certain, and Coco's doing pretty well in the theaters right now, so I think that will be a thing that happens. And I think that based on, because when I saw the film, I thought this would actually be a good match of an IP in the theme parks.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm just starting to wonder how much IP is going to end up going in. We're talking about Moana in the Tiki Room. We already have Frozen in Norway. We have Ratatouille going into France. We're talking. Is Coco going into? Is every?
There's no original thing anymore.
But if it's appropriate, I think it fits. And I think one thing that is certain is that a lot of people who are involved in the Mexican culture, whether they are Mexican or have family related, they are in love with Coco because it's finally a movie that is it's portraying part of their heritage and showing it in a very respectful way. I love the Three Caballeros and Saludos Amigos, everything that Walt Disney did with South and Latin America in the 30s and 40s when he was doing his Goodwill tours. But when you watch them back, they are, like a lot of things from Disney in that time, they're not completely culturally sensitive anymore. And I mean, the Three Caballeros are basically as stereotypical as you can get of an idea of Mexican entertainers. So Coco would be a way to infuse themselves into Mexico in a very respectful manner, and the movie's also amazing. So it
it's
couldn't
one
hurt
IP
them.
for another, because technically Three Caballeros was a animated film that was brought in, right?
Yeah.
So it's just
That's true.
swapping one for another. But
Yeah.
One other one. Is moving over to Animal Kingdom. Ryan, Indiana Jones taking over Dino Land.
Yep, that's one proposal right now for that. Apparently, they want to redo that whole Dinoland area in the Indiana Jones, with Dinosaur becoming the Indiana Jones attraction from Anaheim. It would be a fairly simple remake of the attraction. The ride layouts are basically the same. So that would be
and the vehicles are. I mean, the whole ride mechanism is pretty much identical, if not exactly identical. So I think that would be a fairly easy switch over. And personally, I'd be 1,000% on board with that whole Dino Land area. Going Indiana Jones, as long as that off the shelf crap in that area, those rides like,
Primeval Whirl.
Triceratops Spin.
Triceratops, all of it. Got to go. Put a real attraction in there. Let's do it because that was just done on the cheap.
I actually was talking to a friend of mine who works in guest relations on Sunday about this, because I was like, oh, what do you think of that? And he was just saying, I don't think it'll actually work there. And the valid point is that everything that is at Animal Kingdom is about animals, and there's nothing about, so even Dinosaur is about extinct animals. There's nothing about Indiana Jones.
That's a good
about
point.
Animals. Yeah. And I mean, like, you think, okay, well, we're in other countries, we're on an adventure. And I love Dinosaur, and I do love the Indiana Jones rides. I completely agree with you about that Dinoland USA part, though, that whole area could easily be redone, and just leave the Dinosaur ride right over here for me.
Ryan, what do you think? Do you think that's a good idea?
Personally, I don't. Animal Kingdom is my favorite Walt Disney World park, and I just don't think it fits with the overall theme of the park.
It's a fair argument.
They already had to shoehorn in Avatar by saying, "Oh, it's about the connection of the Earth," and that's how we get it in to Animal Kingdom. To throw Indiana Jones in, you have to rename the park and change the concept, because once you do that, I'm sure someone in Imagineering could make some spin to say how it's going to connect you with the world at a greater hand, but it's not. It would just be a bunch of BS.
Because he's always about finding relics and, like, things.
They did
right?
eat monkey brains in one of those films.
And he doesn't like snakes, right? So,
Yeah, you raise a good point. How would they make, just the excitement of Dino Land, something happening to it, I think just blinded me there for a second. But you're right. It really doesn't have a proper place in that park. Are they going to do it anyway, Ryan?
It's quite possible, but I guess there's one other proposal that I don't know the IP of that's being thrown around as well. So it's kind of a back and forth type thing right now.
If it's Zootopia, I'd be thrilled, because somebody just brought that up in chat, and I was like, oh, Zootopia Land.
That is a good idea.
That's all like the cities of Zootopia and stuff like that. That would be really cool.
That would be awesome.
I could see it being like the car is like their police car, and you're on an adventure, like to solve a crime with them to the thing. Yes, Imagineering, you can hire me.
All right. Well, that's thank you very much for that, Ryan. Great article as always, and always lots of interesting things to read and discuss on the news and rumors forums, disboards.com. Ryan's a moderator on that forum for us, and we probably won't see you before the holidays. So, Merry Christmas to you.
Happy holidays to you guys too.
All righty, take it easy, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, that'll do it for the news section for this week. We're going to move on to, and wow, we went an hour on those discussions. I'm just kind of letting it go here. So, but we'll move over on to a rapid fire, and we'll start with Tess. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'm going to eat your popcorn.
I eat my popcorn. All right.
Not the same as drinking your milkshake, but you know.
Okay. Ample Hills Creamery at Disney's Boardwalk to offer the Last Jedi ice cream flavors. I'm excited about this. This is kind of fun.
It always comes back to ice cream.
It does, right? Everything comes back to ice cream, you know?
It's a great circle of life for you, isn't it?
Twisty treat, but it's okay. All right. The flavors are first order. This is salted dark chocolate ice cream represents relentless villainy, while cocoa powder, bittersweet chocolate, and a dash of powerful espresso reference the dark side.
That sounds disgusting.
It does, doesn't it? Resistance, a celebration of the spirit and determination of the resistance fighters. It is brown sugar and vanilla bean ice cream with an assortment of mix-ins, passionate, fiery red velvet, ooey gooey butter cake, hard edged toffee pieces, and spirited, hopeful mini marshmallows.
It's just too much in there.
Yeah, that's a lot. Then there's the Force. Illustrates the I can't talk today. Balance between dark and light side with the sweet ice cream swirled with rich dark fudge and set against a galaxy of white and dark chocolate pearls. Blech.
It's too much in all of those.
The middle one sounds the most.
The middle one
appealing to
sounds
me.
the best, I think. There's also available, this is kind of interesting, now available to order on amplehills.com. The flavors can also be found at Ample Hill Stores locations, select Whole Foods, and specialty retailers across the Northeast. Star Wars fan specialty retailers across the hill. They're going to have this special little box, I don't know, with a punch-out X-Wing fighter that is easy to assemble.
We should go get this.
We should go get this. I don't know.
You have to go to the Northeast.
You got to go to the Northeast and order it. Okay, whatever. I have a second one. You want to hear it?
I think I'm going to hear it anyway. So.
Okay. There is the Orlando Cat Cafe.
Oh, you went?
Have you been?
You went, didn't you?
I did go. Okay, so it's... Look, I'm going to tie it in here.
Do they serve cat?
Watch me tie it in. Okay, so it's like at 192 and 27.
Yeah, really? Do they serve cat?
No, they don't serve cat.
You get to just hold a cat.
It's a little
while you're
coffee
there.
shop. Yes. And it's really close to Disney. So if you're here and you can't get your cat fixed,
So what the hell goes on at this place?
so you go in, you order your coffee or your hot chocolate. They have some snackage, and then there's a cat room where you can don't go anywhere.
Oh,
Where there's a number of cats where you can go in and have your sit down and hang with them, and they're all for adoption. They're all and we were there Thanksgiving weekend.
Were you looking to replace Earl?
No, I just wanted to see how what it was
Yeah.
like, and they charge you $8 to go in for an hour to sit with these cats, and some of them are kind of laid back, and it's a really fun little area. And
The problem is they had to ask Teresa to leave because she was licking the
I
cats.
know, right? No, I went with the girls, and my sister and her husband went, and they were the ones that wanted to go, and they ended up leaving like after 30 minutes and sitting outside waiting for us, and it was fun interacting because every cat was different, and then you can adopt them if you want.
That's so neat.
It was kind of neat. They've adopted, I think, almost 200 cats so far since they've been open. have been
Yeah, I can't
adopted.
take Finley there.
Yeah. Oh, I know, right? Stella was like laying on the floor with this one little kitten.
Oh.
And then they have older cats, and Grace's boyfriend Owen was playing soccer with one. Literally had a little ball kicking it around. The cat was like interacting with him. So it's fun, and it's for a good cause, and it's close to Disney, and you can go, hang out with.
And where is
the cat.
it?
It's like right off of 27
And
or
192.
192. It's right there in this little area. It's really cool.
All right.
The coffee was, well, I was told the coffee was, what?
Crazy cat lady. All right,
I
thank
didn't
you.
talk about Twisty Treat.
No.
Oh, a friend gave me a gift card to Twisty Treat.
That's
I'm
very
so
exciting. Thank you, Teresa. Charles.
I have one that has nothing to do with renting love from strays. It's
Well, listen to you, Ty, man. Go ahead.
Guests looking to hit the popular Frozen Ever After attraction in the Norway Pavilion at Epcot can now make FastPass Plus selections beginning 9 a.m. instead of waiting in the standby line for the first 2 hours that the attraction was open. Additionally, the Frozen Ever After dessert party is still available on select dates throughout January 2018.
Cool.
Sorry, got
Pretty
Cats in that
straightforward.
story.
Thank you, Charles. Steve.
From now, well, actually, it started on the 1st until December 17th. Walt Disney World annual pass holders can pick up their complimentary holiday magnet from Disney's Hollywood Studios. It just looks like the standard annual pass holder magnet, but it has like a string of Christmas lights behind them.
It's cute.
And you could just pick it up at certain select Hollywood Studios
like a
merchandise locations.
It's like a refrigerator
So
magnet?
is it free?
Yeah, refrigerator magnet. It's free, and you can put it on the back of your car or wherever.
Oh, yeah, so it can go on the back of
How big is it? Like this? Like
It's the same size
Yeah,
as
it's
the
the
pass
same
holder.
size
one.
as the pass
Are you
holder
don't you don't get that?
I don't know.
You do.
The size
Well,
of
I
a
got one of the
hockey puck.
pass holder ones, and it disintegrated within like 6 months.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
They don't stick to my car.
Really?
What do you,
I don't know.
your car not made of metal?
I guess not. I don't know what's going on, but it doesn't stick to it. So anyway.
It's cute. I think it's cute.
It is cute. I've seen people posting selfies with it.
Well, and whenever Disney does something for free, it's like, all right,
It's cute.
cool.
This is why we didn't get glasses at Food and Wine this year.
Yeah, probably.
Magnets.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Julie.
You can enjoy an additional hour of breakfast at Trattoria al Forno beginning December 17th. So this is the character breakfast with Rapunzel and Flynn Rider from Tangled, and then Ariel and Prince Eric from The Little Mermaid. You'll have another hour beginning December 17th, so it'll be from 7:30 to 12 p.m., so to 11, which it's pretty nice because I know that my husband doesn't like getting up early for breakfast. I'm sure there's lots of other people that are the same way. So the reservations during the extended dining hours are now available for dates beginning December 17th and beyond. 407 WDW Dine if you want to make a reservation.
Okay. Thank you, Julie.
Oh, that's on the boardwalk, by the way.
All right. Gregory.
Okay, so the big news over the weekend is that Disney apparently will finally give in to all the complaints, just like they did in Mexico, and they will be pulling Olaf's Frozen Adventure out from in front of Coco. And so, yeah, it's...
This was for those who don't know, when you go to see the movie Coco, they always do the Pixar animated shorts. Olaf's Frozen Adventure was the animated short for this, but calling it a short is kind of not fair because the thing was 21 minutes long and people were upset. Very upset. There
Because
was
of the length?
the length of it.
Well, not just the length, but also the fact that Coco is a Pixar movie, and to put a Walt Disney animation, basically TV special, because that's what it was. It was a TV special, and then they decided to tack it on to Coco. But it's taking away from having a Pixar short in front. And for a lot of people, that's a huge part of seeing a Pixar movie in theaters. They're always fantastic and usually up for an Oscar for Best Animated Short if they're not ending up winning it. So it really was a shame. But on top of that, like when I went to see it, they were warning every single person that walked in and said, you know that Coco, or that before Coco, you'll be seeing Olaf's Frozen Adventure, and just so you know, it'll be a while, with previews plus the short before the movie started.
That's 40 minutes.
It was 40 minutes.
Because I know there's 20 minutes of previews before every kids movie. And, that's okay, but then another 20 minutes for a short before we see the movie. I mean, my kids are good at the movies. They love movies, but the hour's 1 hour and 44 minutes.
That's a
the
long
movie
time.
Is. So plus the extra 40 minutes, we can't be there for 3 hours. That's just asking too much of parents, in my opinion.
And there was nothing wrong with the short. I think it's actually a very cute. It would have made a great cute holiday special
hope they
had it
still
been
run it.
released. Yeah, I think they will in the future. It'll start to become a yearly holiday tradition. I know some people just hated it right out the gate because it was Frozen. Because you can't like anything Frozen. That's not allowed.
That's not true.
Anymore. But I thought it was cute. It just was completely inappropriate for in front of Coco. I see the same kind of holiday values that kind of run through in family, but it was a very weak excuse. I just don't think they deep down believed that Coco would do as well as it ended up doing.
And I think long term now, this is going to work out great financially for Disney because some theaters can now fit an additional screening in because you take that 20 minutes out a couple times, suddenly you have another slot open.
Exactly.
So it kind of works out perfect for everyone.
Yeah, no, they should be able to get at least 1 to 2 screenings a day depending on operating hours of the theater. So that's just extra revenue coming in for it.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Craig. Rhino.
Oh, okay. There was a real Whoopi Goldberg one. I thought he was messing with me. All right. Well, Whoopi Goldberg is apparently going to host this Decorating Disney Holiday Magic premiering December 18th. I don't know what it is because I couldn't find the thing about it. So.
Rhino's still learning how to use the website.
I looked up, I Googled Whoopi Goldberg on our website, and it was old news. That's why I was like, oh, no, this isn't it.
So what is she doing?
It's going to be a TV special, one of the ones that they recorded here at Walt Disney World to give people a taste of the holidays here at Walt Disney World in their home. So it'll be airing at least on ABC's Freeform.
Yeah.
That's the name right now. It'll be airing on there as part of their 25 Days of Christmas.
I do have another one, though, that I would like to share that we didn't talk about today, about the sharing your ears.
Oh, yeah.
So for Make-A-Wish, Disney Parks is going to donate $5 to Make-A-Wish, up to $1 million for each photo that is taken and shared featuring Mickey Mouse ears or any creative ears at all with the hashtag Share Your Ears. And you can put them on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram between now and Christmas Day, December 25th.
Awesome.
So I thought that was a nice... they did this once before,
Yes,
a
they
different
did.
time of year, and I thought this was really cool. So you don't have to be at Disney World or anywhere to do this. Just, get
Pop
creative.
your ears
with it.
on.
Yeah.
All right. That's great. All right. Before we wrap up, I wanted to talk a little bit about the article Steve posted recently. 7 Steps to Becoming the Worst Guest in a Disney Theme Park. Very interesting article, Steve. So why don't you just kind of take us through your rationale here?
So this is actually...
How do you become the worst Disney guest?
This article is just inspired by one of these, and when I get to it, I'll tell you. One of these things just happening to me over and over again. So I was like, what really makes just the worst type of guest at Disney? So for number 7, I had the person that complains about everything. I think it's fair to be critical when you're on a Disney vacation sometimes when things don't go your way. But then there's also that one person that can drag the whole family down if they're just complaining the whole time when everyone else is trying to have a magical experience. So I said that was one of them. Number 6, I had the person that disregards cast members' instructions. Sometimes people take a safety instruction as a cast member being rude to you when they're telling you to stand behind the yellow line. They're not doing it to be mean. They're doing it because they don't want that door whacking into your leg and then you suing Disney and it becoming a whole big mess. So that was number 6. Number 5, this is the one that always happens to me. This is what inspired the people that don't move to the end of the row when it's a full theater.
They drive me nuts.
Yeah, it's the worst.
And not only don't they move to the end of the row, but when you're like trying to get past them, they don't move at all.
Yeah, they don't even move their knees in.
In that case, I'm perfectly fine stepping on you. I really don't, and I'm not going to apologize or say if you're that thoughtless and stupid, you deserve to get stepped on.
Well, and there's also just some common sense that goes along with this. If you're in the Carousel of Progress and it's right before closing and you and one other family are the only people that are going to be in there, sure, you don't have to go all the way down to the end of the row, but that's an exception. But when
That's another rule, a reason of you saying that they don't follow the instructions the cast members give. You're right. They say, move to the end of the row when you come in.
Yeah.
Hello, listen.
And I, as a cast member, when I worked at the Laugh Floor in Tomorrowland, we constantly had to tell people that people that got there first thought that they got to get the best spot like it was a movie theater. But it doesn't work that way. And if you want that spot in the middle, kind of backpedal and let people pass you. That's the only fair way to do it. So moving on to number 4, the people that are willfully unprepared for everything. So you're at Cosmic Rays, you're in a big line, and suddenly the family of 15 realizes that they don't know what they want when they've been in line to get their food for 10 minutes. It's like, you guys couldn't have picked out what you wanted, and now the whole family's deciding at this moment. I get that things happen when you're in a big family, but it's incredibly aggravating when you're that person behind them that's now waiting and waiting because, Sally and whatever has to pick out every little thing. Number 3, the person. This one we mentioned this before on the show, I think, but the people that use flash photography on dark rides.
Oh no, the capital punishment.
Yeah, it's
for that.
So
that is like, and what's even worse, something I'm starting to see now, is not just the people using flash, but I was on Pirates a couple weeks ago, and woman turning the flashlight on her phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why?
Because I guess she wanted to see. She didn't like I don't know, but I've seen this a few times now, where people are. It's like that's when I wish I had a slingshot, and I could just literally take out her hand and the phone in one shot.
The dark section of the People Mover just happened like the other week ago.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Happened there too.
Well, this goes for also your screen brightness when you go in. I get it. You don't want to be on the ride. You're that miserable, the first person you said who complains about everything. Okay, well, just turn that brightness down a little bit on the phone so I don't have to be blinded by the side eye.
Well, a lot of this is being mindful of the fact you're not the only person in the park.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why that thought process is so anathema to so many people. You're not the only person in the park. So why? No one's saying walk around and be, servile to everybody, but you can be mindful and respectful of, hey, I'm not the only one here. Why is that so hard?
And it's especially frustrating when you're on an attraction like Pirates of the Caribbean or Haunted Mansion or some dark rides that are meant to be lit this way because you're not supposed to see some other stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, the lighting, the lights would be on if they were supposed to be. You don't need to have a flashlight or constantly be flashing your camera.
You're seeing what you're supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. It's set like a movie set sometimes. This is Disney. That's the way it's supposed to be. So, anyways, moving on. Number 2, the walk and stop. Like, I get that you are enamored by the castle at the end of Main Street, but when everyone's moving in one direction and then you constantly are stopping and you have people tumbling into you,
just turn your head back slightly. Just do one of these guys. Is there somebody right behind me?
Right.
Then you know you can stop.
Move off to the side, and maybe if there's a garbage can behind you, so no one's gonna walk into
That's
you.
What I
or
do.
Take a picture on the move, or
No, it's the families that just stop in the middle of Main Street and are like, okay, where are we gonna go?
Right.
Have their maps out.
Like
I'm like,
step
get
to
on
the
the sidewalk.
Right. So yes, the walk and stop is number 2, and then number 1, the people that get physically violent. I know this is like we went there, but with the more and more stories of like that woman that was like strangling the girl for the fireworks like a couple months ago, or just different. I feel like more and more we're getting news stories that are people fighting in the park. It's not necessary.
Keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah, this one's a no-brainer, but I felt like in the Disney park it should go without saying, but unfortunately it doesn't.
How many people do you think do all of these things?
Oh, that's the night.
I'm pretty sure that there's a subset of people where this describes their experience at Walt Disney World. If there was a scrapbook of
every
their
time
trip,
they go.
I know one. I won't give a name, but yeah, I know somebody like that. It's every one of them. Some of those don't bother me though.
Like
Number
which ones?
4, I think the cosmic rays dining thing.
Oh, the people that aren't
Being
prepared.
That doesn't bother you?
That doesn't really bother me because they're there having their experience, and I'm there having mine, and
He's saying though, if it's a long line,
I know.
and you
I
it's like at the
understand.
movie theater,
I understand.
the snack
I've waited
bar.
there a long time myself.
Yeah.
But I just feel like
But why? So why wouldn't you wait to like? All
because
right,
they're
what are
busy
we
talking
all?
about what they were doing or what they're going to do, and then they realize, oh, we're at the front. We need to decide. That's what's basically happening, and that just doesn't bother
They
me.
need to step back. You wouldn't
you
keep a
can go.
waiter
You
at your
can go.
table
Yeah.
the entire time while you're making the decision. Well, just wait right here. We're going to decide
Well,
this
I'm
is
okay with
piece
them
by
stepping
piece.
aside. Maybe the cast member should say that. Why don't you step aside, and then I'll get you when you're ready. But it doesn't. I don't know. And there was another one, the stopping on Main Street or just coming to a dead stop. I mean, I think we've all done it.
Oh yeah, and I'm not saying I've done it too.
I'm not talking about individual people. I'm talking about big groups of people.
Well, what irritates me more than the stopping is the entire family walking side by side.
I was just about to mention that.
All
That's
10
the
of
one,
them.
right?
No, it can even be down to just to two. The sidewalk is a two-way sidewalk. If you are two people and I am not a friggin' ghost, I can't walk through you. So what do you want me to do? Step off into the road? Could you just move behind the other person when you see me?
I always think the people that are doing that kind of thing are not going as often as we are. Because when I go into the park, I'm usually
That's true.
going somewhere.
That's a good.
Weaving my way through people. These people going slow and doing the stop and start stuff. They're just trying to enjoy it, and they're just trying to. Oh my gosh, what do we?
But
they're a little overwhelmed. Maybe
That applies to like any public place, though.
So it does.
Any
But she
city sidewalk.
raises a good point that this is from the perspective of someone and people who are there all the time. How much of this is okay? If I'm going to play devil's advocate, I'm on vacation for the first time at Disney World. Okay, this is a disorienting place.
and you're not
So-
going to just charge down Main Street.
Not and not everybody's going to get onto Main Street and walk with purpose. Because that's my line. Like when I'm behind somebody who's doing this, like saying to myself, walk with purpose. They got nowhere to go and all day to get there. So, and because I get obviously I'll get frustrated with it as well, but I do try and keep in mind that, my expectations on this experience are based on the fact that I've been here a million times, and the people in front of me may not have been. Maybe this is their first trip. So, all the things that we know to do, all the things we understand, may not apply, or just may be really completely foreign to these folks, not having been here. So I think I have to try and kind of keep that perspective.
That's fair. I also think of any of these, the walk and stop is probably the one that we've all been that person at some point. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I've never been guilty.
I've
of
done it where I've gotten to the front of a line, and I should have been prepared, and I wasn't.
Oh yeah.
And I
other
try
things
not to.
going on. Yeah.
I try not to, but like Teresa said, sometimes you're in a discussion and you're not really paying attention, and then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, you're there.
there.
So, obviously, being physically violent, that's
I try not to do that. I've only done that once, and I regret it.
Yeah.
That time that lady shoved you down at
Yes,
the party?
I shoved.
Oh, you shoved her down. I'm sorry. That's what I meant. Yeah.
I'm trying to forget it. I do regret that.
You shoved somebody down?
It was an
Oh,
accident. She was in my way.
She was between you and an ice cream cone, wasn't she?
She was between me and the exit,
Took her out.
and she was dallying. She was doing the stop and start, but whatever. Let's not go there. I'm a better person now.
So very interesting article, Steve, and certainly food for thought on ways to be a better, more considerate guest when you're in the theme park. So that is going to do it for our show for this week, everyone. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back with you again next week with another edition of the Diz Unplugged. Thanks for being with us, and remember, stay out of the damn lakes. Have a great week.